Joining us now, we have two principals from the Walled Lake Consolidated School District. First, we're joined on the left on your screen right now is Julie Amann, the principal of the Walled Lake Elementary School, and on the right is Nayal Maktari, the principal of Pleasant Lake Elementary School, to join us to talk about the Walled Lake Consolidated School District's upcoming celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in the virtual ceremony and celebration that will happen on Monday, January 17th, which is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. We appreciate having both of you on. Thanks for joining us today.
Yep, thank you for having us.
Appreciate it. So it's a celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and many school districts locally have similar celebrations. I know here in West Bloomfield they have their annual United We Walk, usually the day before. At Walled Lake they have their celebration each year. This year it's going to be virtual. What can people expect from this iteration of the celebration, being that it's going to be virtual in this school year? Let's start with you, Julie.
With it being virtual this year, you'll expect to see a lot of the same things. We will have performances from two choirs in the district, one from Keith Elementary and one from Walled Lake Northern High School. We will have a keynote speaker that will talk about our theme, that we're better together. That's our theme this year. And also sharing some student projects, the Express Yourself projects, and celebrating and honoring the winners of our Alec Bender Friend of Diversity Award. So a lot of it will look the same as our in-person celebration, that what folks will see on the virtual.
So then when was the decision made to hold this celebration as a virtual ceremony as opposed to an in-person ceremony? Because in many places, there's been a lot more of a drive to go back to in-person events, certainly like in-person learning, but we still have had, of course, this uptick in COVID-19 cases from the Delta variant, and especially now with the Omicron variant. When was this decision made, and then how did that change the approach to planning this event?
The decision was made just this past Monday, January 3rd. One component of the in-person event that is a huge attraction is a multicultural dinner. We typically have a dinner that we provide free to our guests from about 13 different restaurants. And given the fact that a dinner with between 500 and 700 people unmasked eating, given the surge in cases, we thought it would be prudent to have the event virtually. And then the second part of your question, I think, what was the second part, if you could remind me?
And how did that change the planning, the approach to planning for this event, being that it was going to be, it's normally in person, and then suddenly last week it was decided that it was going to be virtual?
It has sped up our timeline quite a bit. Typically, we have until the 17th to get everything out together, but now we are working on getting our groups pre-recorded. Our choirs, our student speakers, and our keynote speaker all have to be recorded ahead of time so we can have that available and all put together as one cohesive program for our viewers.
And so these events, one of the key pillars of holding these celebrations is not only, of course, to celebrate the life and the legacy and the messages that were given by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. during his lifetime, but also that participation in the learning events and in interaction with the community for members of the community in your school district. And so, Nayal, how is your team that's producing this event this year, how have they gone about continuing to allow for that kind of participation, albeit in a virtual event as opposed to in person?
Yeah, that's a great question. And so every year during this celebration, which is really reflective of Walled Lake Schools, we have a diverse school community, and we truly celebrate it here in Walled Lake Schools. But we actually have a theme that we create every year. So this year's theme is Together We're Better. And so what we do is all of our 19 schools in Walled Lake Schools actually creates a project or a presentation. Now, it could be something physical, like, something where we're creating a wall of a student work. It could be a video. It could be a lot of different modes of presentation. And so each school does that. And so normally you would walk into one of our high schools and you see all presentations around. So this year instead, though, what we're doing is just either recording it or getting photographs, and we're still presenting it during the pre-recorded presentation. So we're still trying to have that feel, right, where we're celebrating all of our schools and all members of our school community, but instead of in person, no, it'll be done virtually. It'll be a live, it'll be streamed live at 6 p.m., which is normally is. So we're still trying to provide that same feel, but sadly, obviously, we couldn't do it in person, but we feel like as if this is the next best thing.
You can learn more information about the 17th, January 17th virtual celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, the 23rd annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day celebration to the Walled Lake Consolidated School Districts by visiting their website at WLCSD.org, where there's also currently a countdown to the live player where the ceremony will be broadcast from their website. Again, that is WLCSD.org. And so, now continuing on, often when we're approaching Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, not only are these celebratory events and projects put into effect and being planned, but it's also a great time to apply the lessons of Dr. King to the education, especially for the two of you being elementary school principals and seeing what has gone on over the last several years with the pandemic, with the protests in the summer of 2020, with everything that happened on this day a year ago, and all the other controversy and conflict that has happened ever since. How do you approach teaching our young kids about the lessons of Dr. King, but also applying them to some of the conflicts and some of the issues that are out there today to help educate them not only on those issues, but also on productive ways to approach resolving complex issues such as those?
Again, another great question. So you're right. We don't just celebrate diversity of our school community or similar topics just on this day, right? It's the idea that it's an ongoing effort throughout the school year. And so throughout the school year, it's embedded in our curriculum where we really try to teach our kids what appropriate discourse looks like, right? Because that's something that's really lacking in society right now at this point, but it's something that we've always done, even, previous to this year, is try to teach our kids how to have that appropriate discourse. And so appropriate discourse, and what we see also is just our curriculum itself is reflecting the diversity of our school community in our country. And so really our big goal is educate our children in terms of appreciating the community they live in, appreciating their neighbors, but also how to have those appropriate conversations to where when they do disagree. So that's an ongoing effort throughout the school year. It will continue to be moving forward.
We're joined by both Nayal Maktari, the principal of Pleasant Lake Elementary School, as well as Julie Amann, the principal of Walled Lake Elementary School, joining us today on the MegaCast. And so one of the key presentations, of course, it's going to be performances by the student choirs, but also several students will be presenting their Express Yourself projects. So many districts that do celebrations like this will have those special projects that are incorporated into these kinds of celebrations that are always is a different goal each year, and there are different projects that often are results of that. What are some of the more interesting or compelling Express Yourself projects that people may be able to experience by attending this virtual event this year?
This year we have 4 winners of the Express Yourself contest that will be showcased at the event. We have 2 pieces of artwork that children created. A really amazing poem that one of our students wrote and will perform, and then a video that was done really creatively. When you watch it at first, you're not quite sure where it's going, and then the student brings it all together at the end with the message of we're better together. Really creative and outstanding work done by these young people.
We're joined by Julie Amann, the principal of Walled Lake Elementary School, as well as Nayal Maktari, who is the principal of Pleasant Lake Elementary School, joining us on the MegaCast. Again, they're both discussing the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day celebration. It's a virtual celebration for the 23rd annual celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day through the Walled Lake Consolidated School District. You can learn more information about the event by visiting the Walled Lake School District's website at WLCSD.org. And again, WLCSD.org. If you follow the links to their page about the event, you'll also be able to watch the virtual event right there in 11 days and counting from the time of this interview. And you'll see that countdown clock on that page right now. So Julie, Nayal, just a few more minutes with you and before we'll say goodbye. Anything else that would be important for our audience to know about the ways that they can participate in this event as there's still plenty of time left before the day of, if they want to participate, if they want to help out in making this event a success this year, how can they get involved?
Really just spread the word. We want as many people as possible to join us and listen to our keynote speaker. We have Rabbi Yarden Bloomstein, who we're really excited about. He's a teen mentor who creates awareness surrounding teen mental health and empowers teens to support one another in schools and elsewhere. And we know mental health is a really important topic right now. He directs You Matter. It's the division of the Friendship Circle in Michigan, and focuses it on, it's really specifically on teens who are struggling with mental health challenges. It's teens helping their peers, overcoming stigmas and other obstacles related to mental health. So we really want them to hear our presenters. We want them to hear our Friends of Diversity Award winners, and just really take a look at the wonderful work that our children and the adults have put together for this special event. Walled Lake Schools and the whole Connell area, such a diverse place in terms of culture, religiously, linguistically, socioeconomically, diverse opinions. And this event is just one to celebrate that. We have to, come together, right? And this is an event, and it should go well past just this day. And so how they can help is by getting the word out there, participating, watching it, and just, again, celebrating, those different diverse opinions and we have in our school communities.
And to add on to what Nayal said, I agree, spreading the word so our young people can know why they have that day off of school. What is the purpose? Why? What does it mean? Why is this a day off? I remember the first time I took my children to an event on Martin Luther King Day, it really changed their thinking about that day. And then one more thing that folks could do is to honor Dr. King's legacy of service. We will have a link posted where folks can donate to Hospitality House as an act of service. Typically, visitors to our event will bring donations for Hospitality House to support that as a way to honor the legacy of service by Dr. King. So we will have a link on the website where folks can donate to support that organization.
Well, Julie and Nayal, we appreciate both of your time, and thank you for joining us, previewing this virtual event again that will happen on Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day at 6 o'clock. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.